Good morning everyone, it's Kay here. I'm here in response to Littlesnippets1, Geraldine's recent challenge, her New Year challenge for going over the 300 subby mark. And bless her heart, she's deliciously wicked and has asked for Crafty Disaster expose from us individuals who would care to take part in this rather lovely, naughty challenge. You'll see in front of me here I've got my Spellbinder Grand Caliber, and you may be thinking to yourself, why has she got this sat on her table in such a manner when we're talking about disasters and exposing the fact that, you know, none of us are perfect and we really do have these extremely blonde moments that lead us into all sorts of trouble. Well, this machine, as fond of it as I am, was the be-all and end-all, the very centre of my epic event. And it felt so epic, I can't tell you. I was nearly carried off kicking and screaming in a white jacket at the end of my tether with frustration, humiliation and any other ation that comes into mind. It was frightful. Anybody that knows these little lovely machines know that you get this little warning to people such as myself telling you that you have to make sure on this little plate here that the sandwich is right when it goes through the machine, de-da. Well, you know, I've been using it quite a while, I felt quite confident, and then I introduced my Grand Caliber to Tim Holtz, and perhaps it was not the best of ideas that I've ever had. I figured that even though I didn't have the long plate, because this is what this wonderful die requires to go through my Cuttlebug, with these being A4 I would probably just be able to make up the right sandwich and head off into the hills and just get on with it. Well, if you look closely you can see that this dear die represents the trauma it's been through as well. There are definite areas that are marked out in a very different way to the others, and this is where I had a slight mishap, to say the least. I put my sandwich together, tried several different combinations, and as a last resort decided that I would add the rubber sheet that one would use in embossing to just make the sandwich that little bit thicker to allow for this to be cut through the machine. Well, don't do it, ladies. Please don't do it. Like a fool, I put the rubber mat on top of the sandwich, proceeded to quite gaily and happily and nonchalantly thread it through the machine. Got so far and there was a resounding clunk and everything came to a grinding halt. So I tried to reverse the action. It didn't happen. I then decided I would tip it upside down, shake it a bit, coerce it, thump it, kick it around, mentally of course, because I'm not an aggressive person, as you can well imagine, to no avail. I then thought, oh, I know, I'll get one of my film crew's screwdrivers and I'll just undo everything that looks like a screw and try and loosen everything off and release the little sandwich that way. No, it didn't work. Then I decided, I know, I'll cut through the blinking mat. Did it work? No. And here is testimony to that fact. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You can see I've got scorched rubber burns, wrinkles and kinks and holes, and well, you can tell the duress that this poor mat was under. I actually had a point where tears were flowing quite readily down my face because I really thought I'd completely banjaxed the whole system and that I would have to replace the Grand Caliber at great cost at a time when I really didn't want to be doing it. However, I put it aside, kept looking at it, giving it the evil eye in the hope that whilst I wasn't looking it would relax. feel able to let go of the sandwich that it was holding, but I had to wait until the film crew came home. And you'll see on the reverse side of this machine there are these lovely little pink little discs here. Well, apparently, if you're in the know, they do flip out and there are more screws in there. So my delightful film crew went along, completely took it apart, right down to the bare metal rollers that are featured inside. He actually pulled out this as it sits now. There was no question, I hadn't cut it, it had just been torn asunder by the rollers inside. So, you know, needless to say, this die has remained unused. Any suggestions you may have to afford me the luxury of running this through my grand caliber in the right sandwich safely would be very much appreciated, because I am too frightened. I got away with it once, I don't think I'd get away with it twice, to have another go at putting it through the grand caliber. So Ger, I hope that meets your wicked sense of humour. Really, it was, you had to be a fly on the wall to see the effect that this situation had on a grown woman. It was dreadful, and once again the film crew came to the rescue. So I hope, as I say, you find this entertaining, Ger. Thank you very much for such a delicious challenge. I am just so enjoying watching everyone's take on their disaster expose. Is just criminally wonderful. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. I hope I've at least warned you that perhaps all is not well in my craft world, and set you on the right road to getting those sandwiches put together in the right way. Take care. Bye bye.